welcome to Volume 2 of Tales from the Desk. I wasn't anticipating sending out another video quite so soon, but look, there's been a couple of events in the last 24 hours, so I thought it would be best if I talk to you all about what's been going on. First of all, I just want to cover up quickly on North Korea. You all would have seen the rhetoric has been ramped up again, where the North Koreans are now threatening to attack the Americans with nuclear warheads. Look, the Chinese are really the only people who can talk to the North Koreans. The Chinese provide the North Koreans with actually most of their fuel and most of their food. It's not in the Chinese interest to have a bigger US military presence in the Asian region, so hopefully, cooler heads will prevail over time. There's been some suggestion that I read somewhere from a wag saying that perhaps the Chinese have been happy for this rhetoric to escalate so they can ride in like white knights and save the day. And look, if the North Koreans, for whatever reason, finally do decide to start firing something at the Americans, well, they won't exist the following day. The Americans have enough firepower to blow them off the map. It's just what devastation is going to be left behind to deal with. The real thing I want to talk to you about today is the changes in superannuation laws with the hastily cobbled together press meeting this morning, press conference with Bill Shorten and Wayne Swan made these announcements. Look, this is again policy on the run. I don't believe it is good policy. It is clearly not thought through well. It's been driven by the boffins in Treasury. There has been absolutely no consultation with the industry in respect of this. Even though they've talked about they have consulted, there has been no consultation about any of these changes as such. The first change they talked about, I don't believe will affect any of you watching this video today. They're talking about increasing taxes on those people who have allocated pension accounts and within that pension account earn more than $100,000 of net earnings. Now this doesn't mean the pension you're withdrawing from the account or any lump sum withdrawals, it's the net earnings on the capital inside that pension account. The example that they have used is if someone has $2 million worth of assets and earns 5% net earnings, that equates to $100,000. The taxes would apply only on the balance over and above that. So for example, if someone earned $110,000 net earnings on an allocated pension, the extra $10,000 over that $100,000 cap would be taxed at 15%, or that fund would pay $1,500. The government are yet to tell us what net earnings actually mean, so are a bit unclear, and like all of these things I'm talking to you about today, these are press release announcements. They are not law, they are not legislation, they have not been passed. What Treasury has said is that these tax changes will affect 20,000 people and raise them about $350 million over the forward estimates of the fund. I have concerns about this because this particular government has chosen before to introduce limits and then reduce them progressively. And also, let's be frank here, what they have also decided to do today in their infinite wisdom is to announce they're going to create what they call a Council of Superannuation Guardians. These people are there, and please, I have to read this to get this right, they're there to guide super policy and ensure sustainability and adequacy. Another bureaucratic committee. I think this is going to be a complete and utter waste of time. This committee will produce reports in the future. They'll either be ignored by future governments or binned. As I said earlier, there has been no consultation on the current rules that they have announced today with the industry. So why should we believe that there will be any future consultation or they'll take any notice of any Council of Superannuation Guardians? Perhaps, we can make the next Marvel Avenger movie or something like that, if we're going to have super guardians as it stands. What I'm worried about is in raising the taxes on potentially 20,000 individuals, which is what Treasury has said, to collect $350 million of revenue, which is a drop in the bucket over the forward estimates, which is like the next 4 to 5 years in a $1 trillion economy. This affects the public confidence of 23 million Australians in Australia's superannuation system. Superannuation, you save the money for a long time to provide for your retirement. The system has been set up now to effectively replace the age pension in decades to come. Australia has the 4th largest pool of superannuation assets in the world, and unfortunately this current government thinks it is a honeypot they can keep sticking their hands into. They made that many rule changes in the last 5 years, it isn't funny, and who's to say if they put this rule in that suddenly this $100,000 limit isn't reduced the same way they've reduced other limits in the future. Secondly, what also perturbs me is the rule changes that they're going to introduce as from 1st July 2015 for aged pensioners who then start new allocated pensions. So, if you're a current age pensioner with a current allocated pension, or you commence an allocated pension as an age pensioner before 1st of July 2015, you have nothing to worry about. From 1st of July 2015, for new allocated pensions, for age pensions, they will however be assessed underneath the deeming test. This to me is creating a form of age warfare, not class welfare, age warfare. Here's an example. A single age pensioner in July 2015, if they had, say, $250,000 of super pension or financial assets, and let's say a modest home of $300,000, we'll compare them to a person who might have organised their affairs more effectively, where they had, let's say, only $50,000 of super pension or financial assets, but they lived in a $1.5 million home. Homes are exempt, or the home that you live in are exempt underneath the assets test. The person who's living in that $1.5 million home with only $50,000 worth of assets gets $4,500 extra per year than the person who lives in a modest home and has $250,000 of financial assets. This is not fairness and equity. As I said, I consider this to be age warfare. Again, the savings to the government are minimal over the forward estimates. They're talking $158 million over the 4 or 5 years. Again, in a $1 trillion economy, that's not on. Over the weekend or early next week, hopefully we'll be able to get to see more of the details on some of these rule changes that they're pushing through, and I'll come back to you and give you some more guidance as it stands. As it stands now, I'll actually be going and trying to meet with my local Member of Parliament, the lovely Kate Ellis. I would actually encourage all of you to make contact with your parliamentarians, and in fact I might even provide some correspondence in the future for that. I trust you enjoy this video. We'll have some more to come. This is a good way to communicate with everyone. Please feel free to ring or email me with any questions. Go to our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/2020 F for Freddy, P for Peter, 2020 FP, and hit the subscribe button so you can get access to all these videos. And look, feel free to pass them on to your friends as you see fit. Anyway, bye for now.